You're listening to Goof On Radio with Rich Giordano.
Belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone.
There has been and is an existing presence, an ET presence. It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to change reality.
I believe, as do the other folks that were on the flight, that when we visually saw it, that it was something not from this world.
Goof On Radio.
You were either in or you were either out, brother.
But the cream rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Goof On Radio with Rich Giordano.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Goof On Radio.
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
You're listening to Goof On Radio with Rich Giordano.
All right. Welcome to Goof On, everybody. I'm your host, Rich Giordano, and it is Friday, June 25th, 2021. So, what'd we get?
For over half a century.
What did we get? I don't know, man. We went through half a century. What did we get today? A preliminary report. That's it. Welcome to Friday. You made it. The end of the week. You worked all week for this very moment in time and space. You're now into the weekend. You don't even want to go to sleep because you know if you sleep, you might miss something. Like, I don't know. I can't think of anything you might miss. But, the report. We'll talk about the report. So I was on Alien Addict earlier tonight. Some of you may have caught the show with DarkHour Paranormal, ThirdPhaseOfMoon, Lee from Musty Audio, and of course, Ali, Alien Addict. And it was a pretty good show. And a lot of people were popping up in that chat room. We had Richard Dolan showed up, right? Dr. Stephen Greer was there. Some other people I can't remember right now. And Jeremy Corbell. Yeah, he was there. Yeah. And he kind of called me out. Do I know it was him? Look, I didn't have time to see if that was the real Jeremy Corbell, but people said they verified it. If you click on it, it goes to his YouTube channel. Right? Isn't that how it works? So I'm assuming that was the real Jeremy Corbell. So I was talking about him, not knowing he was in the chat room. And I'm like, Corbell, come on, man. This guy only thinks about himself, I said. Doesn't care about you. Why is he holding on to all this evidence? You share it with us. Oh, I see. It's to prolong the career, gain followers and trust with subpar UFO video. I got it. All right, I understand. It's like clickbait, but this is ego bait. See? And I was letting him have it. And I'm like, I don't like this guy. I don't trust him. And then I said why I didn't trust him. Several months ago, Dark Sky Files, YouTube channel, puts Jeremy Corbell's phone number in the chat room and says, this is Jeremy Corbell's phone number. And I'm like, no, you don't have Corbell's phone number. And I called it. And Jeremy answered. I recognized the voice right away. And I said, is this Jeremy? He says, yeah. Who's this? And I said, it's Rich Giordano from Goof On. He goes, Goof On? It's all recorded. And I'm thinking really quick now because the guy actually picked up the phone. I'm a little nervous, I have to admit. And I'm like, hey, man, we were just talking about your video. And he goes, oh, yeah? And I go, but I wanted to let you know that I'm live streaming right now. He says, what do you mean you're live streaming? I said, I'm doing a podcast, a live show. People are listening right now. And he goes, they are? And then, I got a little irritated. He got a little irritated. I don't blame him. So I said, I wanted to let you know. I wanted to let him know just so he doesn't say something, something personal. You don't want it to go out over where a couple hundred people are listening and thousands will eventually finally listen to the show. So I told him. He got mad. He says, I'm eating dinner. That's not cool. It's not professional to call me. Why don't you email me? And I said, hey, man, I didn't know. I didn't know you were going to pick up. Somebody put a phone number out. I'm going to call it because that's what I do. We have fun here at Goof On. We're not like any other show for the newcomers. I know we got newcomers because I've never seen 350 people here before. So I'm just giving you the preamble as to why the situation tonight is happening. So we got to talking and I agreed it's not professional. You're right. I'm sorry. I apologized. And he says, I tell you what, if you remove the audio of this conversation from the live stream, I promise you, not once, but twice, he said, I promise you, I'll come on your show and we'll talk about anything you want. I said, okay. I emailed him that night. Hey, love to have you on. Really sorry. I said, I can't believe it was actually your number. I would have never called if I knew, because I wouldn't have. But I was curious and I called it anyway. It's what we do. We have a little fun. You challenge me? I might take that challenge up. I didn't see the harm in it. I figured if it's really the guy's phone number, what a great memory we're creating for Goofonians. That's what we call ourselves here. Anyway, make a long story short, I emailed him again. I'm at the end anyway. I emailed him again. Nothing. So tonight, when I was on Alien Addict's show, I said, you know why the guy's a liar? Because he promised he would come on the show. Well, Jeremy said, but it was your fault. You know, it's my fault that this happened. My fault? Are you kidding me? Why would you give your number to somebody who would give it out to everybody? I accepted my part in that chain of events, of course. You know, I don't want to call any of you, you know, unless you want me to. Jeremy didn't want me to call. He wants emails. It's the way he rolls. So I emailed him. So tonight he said, I'll come on your show. Actually, that's not what he said. And I said, because he said yes. I said, yeah, will you come on my show tonight? And I saw a yes in the comments. So I replied, does that yes mean you will come on my show tonight? Yes, it does. So guess what? Without further ado, it's just me and you. He stood us up. Stood us up. That's his way to get back at me, I guess. Now, until I can really figure out if that was the real Jeremy Corbell, because I took other people's words for it, that was really him. And later on Alien Addict's show, he did say, yes, I will come on. So that's why we're here by ourselves for a little while. I'm going to give him a little time. Maybe he's got to trim the beard up or comb his hair. Let's see. Nope, that's not him. So he baited us. Exactly. He did. You know, here's the greatest thing of all. Right there. We're gonna call him. But I emailed him twice. So I'm not calling him. You know, that's if that was Jeremy, that's okay. Yeah. So we'll see a big drop off right now if you guys, but Third Phase of Moon is going to come on in a little while. DarkHour Paranormal is going to join. And we'll still do a show because I can do a show in a closet. So if you want to hang out for a little while, Third Phase will be here maybe in 40, 45 minutes. Michael will show up as well. It'll be a great time because what happened today that was supposed to happen, you might as well hang out. You want me to put here's what I'll do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the link to the show in the chat room. Anybody want to join? You come on in and we'll talk about today, the preliminary report. So I put the link in the chat if anybody wants to join me. Now, today was a preliminary report that was dropped. That's what dropped. And it looks like it's just press releases on apparent military newsworthy events that took place. Now, I didn't see anything that said, yeah, I know, Tractor Basil. It's not going to be like that. Hey, if anybody's calling in, I only want to talk about today's events. All right. We're not doing the, 20 years ago story. So if you want to call in or not call in, but chime in with the link in the chat room, you don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. So if you want to give your opinion, you want to talk, please do. All right. We got Steve here. Steve, welcome. Hello. Yeah,
hello, mate. I was just gonna say that I was a bit apprehensive.
Can you turn off the background music for me, please? The background noise.
Sorry. Yeah, that's better. I was just gonna say I didn't think it was Jeremy per se, but
why is that?
I don't know. It was just a bit too quick for me. Like he came in, he was commenting, and I mean anyone can make a profile up, you know that as best as anyone. But yeah, I just thought I'd chime in on that one. But yeah, I didn't think it was Jeremy, per se, but I was hoping it would be.
You know, I don't know, man. If the guy wants to call in, he's got the email. Let me see if I got no response. So, you know, whatever. I don't believe it was him, but I took other people's word that they verified it was him and said it was. So they would have no reason to lie unless they thought maybe they didn't check and they just said they did, you know. So here we are.
Exactly. I mean, and I don't know if you noticed earlier on in the chat, there was a few comments, and I just think, like, I believe what you guys said earlier in Alien Addicts, in Alien Addicts room, that basically we should all work together to get the truth out there. You know, it doesn't matter who's who, what's been said, what's been done. It's just the case of, like, everybody should work together and get the truth out there.
Yeah, but how do we do that when people lie?
Well,
it's very difficult. That's why there's the worst rift ever in ufology I've ever seen.
Yeah, I get it. It's just, I don't know, without swearing.
Well, you're allowed to swear. It's okay, but you know, if you don't need to.
No, I'd rather not. But it's just effing annoying in a polite way, because it's like, the way I see it, why, like was it ThirdPhaseOfMoon said earlier, like, everybody should work together, like Jeremy, you, like, right down the line, everybody should just come together, share their footage, get it out there, and put it out there, and just be like, look, this is what's real, this is what's not, this is what the mainstream media are doing, this is what everybody's not doing, and, you know, just get it out there.
Yeah, I know. I haven't seen that since I've been here. The closest it's been is with my collaboration with ThirdPhaseOfMoon and other people that are panelists and things like that. You know, John D'Souza and other people. It's amazing what collaboration is going on. Lee, unmute yourself. Lee's here too. Hey, what's up, Lee G or audio? Can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
No, volume's way low.
I can just about hear him.
Yeah, it's too low though for a show like this. Come on, got high quality here.
You can't have this. Yeah.
It's
can you hear me now?
Show.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Oh, wonderful.
Steve, I'm going to mute you because the wind is atrocious.
Yeah, it is windy.
Listen, it's because I got the fan on in the background. I'm going to shoot. I just wanted to come on and say that. That's all.
All right. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
No. Listen, peace. And listen, honestly, I love your show, as you know anyway. I'm a big follower of you. Always have been. And yeah, just like I say, I just don't see why we all can't work together and get it out there, you know? But that's my opinion anyway.
It's a good opinion. I agree with it. Thank you very much.
Cheers, brother.
Right.
Cheers.
Yeah.
So what's up, Lee G, First Floor Audio?
I'm all right, Rich. How are you, mate?
Doing all right, man. I'm a little
They haven't really given us anything, really, have they?
What was that?
I said they haven't really given us anything, have they, at the moment?
You're right. No, they haven't. What'd they give us?
Well, I mean, us in England, we hear nothing. Nothing at all.
So in England, you're not getting the same kind of excitement we're getting here?
Not that I've seen. Until my wife comes in here and says, you know, what's this going on in the world then?
Yeah. All right.
Clearly, it's only because she has no interest in any of these subjects at all.
Okay.
You know?
All right, I'm going to bring in Truth Seeker 101. What's up, man?
Hi, Rich.
Thanks.
Well,
How
thanks for having us in here, man. That show was incredible.
The Alien Addict one?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. That was awesome. Just seeing all you guys talking and everything, I really appreciated that.
It was a good show. Good conversation.
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of yours, Rich, and I'm always kind of the odd man out because I'm not a huge supporter of Greer. I kind of think he kind of goes down a whole rabbit hole that I'm not really into, but I still love to hear his opinions and thoughts. I just I don't know. I don't know where I stand on the whole thing really, but I just wanted to say I really appreciate your show, man, and good luck and keep up the good work. You were at like 390 something a minute ago.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe it. I mean, these poor people now, Corbell may show up. I'm thinking he may show up at the top of the hour, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
Oh, I hope he does too, because I kind of went back and forth on him, thinking he was just kind of being, I don't know, like he was fed information. I have no idea, but I don't know, man. I'm thinking more and more that these guys are saying exactly what they. You know what? I'm going to leave it to you guys because I'm just not sure.
All right.
But anyway, Rich, I'm going to hop out of here. I just wanted to say thanks, man, and I think you're doing a great job. So
thanks, man. I appreciate that, Truth Seeker.
Thank you, man.
101. Thanks, Truth Seeker 101. I see SMDC retiree who is trying to get his device to work. So whenever that happens,
it is hard, isn't it? It is hard to know what to say about all this because us boys and girls in England kind of thing. I mean, like I said, unless my wife comes in here, who's your average kind of person who doesn't follow all this stuff, if she doesn't come into me and say, "What the hell? There's UFOs, there's aliens, what?" Until she does that, if she's not getting the news, and it's supposedly happening all over the world, why we've not heard it.
I'm sorry. I just can't believe if that was Corbell that he would do that.
I think it's very what would you say?
I don't know, but he didn't. He didn't even reply to the emails.
Whoever it was very baiting. Of course you're going to want. If thinking that was Corbell, of course you're thinking to yourself, well, come on the show, and you're thinking to yourself, you're speaking to him legitimately. You don't expect people to bait you. So if he is fake, bang out of order. Firstly, wrong. Just don't do it. And secondly, if it was Corbell, then how bloody rude.
Yeah.
Where are your manners? Where's your integrity, son?
I just don't know, man. I don't see that guy. Look, I don't know. I have interacted with him on Twitter, and he was he did act a little immature, to be honest with you. So it doesn't surprise me. This is his way of getting back at me. I'll tell him going on his show.
There's too much ego, not enough just finding the middle ground. There's always like the extreme positions that people want to hold. And at the end of the day, every single person that's involved in this, from my standpoint, I've been listening to this kind of jargon and talking about it and hypothesizing it for over 35 years, like yourself, fella, but everybody just really is doing a section of the same bloody thing, and it's all connected. So until, like I say, people throw away all the labels of everybody and just came together as a human being or human beings, nothing's going to change. You're always going to have these little pods of, oh, we belong with this crowd and we belong with this crowd. That's just got to stop. How are you going to find enlightenment from segregating a crowd over here because you're not into their position? That's just their position. Everybody's got a point of view, haven't they? But you don't bait someone saying you're going to be on their show as well. Definitely when you are an actual figurehead and then not go on the show. Unprofessional, no integrity, rude.
Jack, you could go ahead and go, man.
Rude.
There's no reply from Corbell, so have a good night. Anybody want to leave? Go ahead and go, man. You don't have to
Richie
stay.
was not baiting you here, guys. He was genuinely in the other chat on the other show, also, on that Alien Addict. Right. He was baited. He spoke for a long time, allegedly, backwards and forwards, with someone in the chat calling themselves Corbell.
But also, that was Dr. Greer and Richard Dolan, because
It was, yeah.
we talked to them. Well, I don't talk to them. Third Phase talks to them.
Yeah.
And they've talked to Greer and Dolan about doing what just happened. So they showed up. It really was them. But Corbell didn't show. Hold on a second. Hold on. Justin, if you're going to be on, you there? You got your shirt on? I'm going to bring you on now. I couldn't bring you on naked like that. What's up, Justin?
Hey, man.
Hello, friend. Listen,
how you doing?
Don't let no one. Sorry about the camera footage. I'm using my phone, Rich.
Is the volume low for him?
Yeah, it's really low.
Yeah, your volume's really low.
Really low.
Hang on. Give me 1 moment.
All right.
Yeah, if he's coming through a phone, though.
That's a little better, sure. Yeah, it's a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's on your mind? Because I'm about to go solo here in 3 minutes. So what's going on?
Right. Don't let them bait you up.
Okay. They won't.
Nope.
Yeah, no. I mean, it is what it is. Thanks.
You did a good job earlier on another show.
I can't hear you. Your volume's just, it's shut down again, bro.
It's terrible.
I'm sorry. Listen, I love the show.
Too low.
Keep doing a good job.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Justin.
Job,
all right, man. Thank you very much for calling. I appreciate this support. Poor guy. All right. I'm going to have to, Lee.
Yeah, no problem, mate. You crack on your show and I'll shoot on.
Yeah, because I wanted to play an Alien Addict show for a few minutes so people understand what it looks like.
Yeah,
and maybe they can judge for themselves. So thank you very much.
Like I said, you were baited, fella, and it's of course you're gonna invite the guy on, and as far as you're concerned, tell everybody that he's gonna come on the show. So of course you're gonna put it in the title of the show. I would have thought as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course. So I'm going to actually change
that.
Mean
for the sake of being bloody mean. Just get over yourself, people. Stop it.
That's all right.
Where's the love, bruv? Where's the love?
I almost take it as a form of compliment that somebody would actually go out of their way to
go out of their way. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
you're living rent free in their head, mate. So just think about that.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, they think the same thing of me, but believe me, it's not true.
Yeah, let them think what they want anyway, mate. You know the truth from, and all the people that know in the background as well, dude. We all know your character. So sod them all anyway. There you go.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
No worries, fella.
All right.
Peace out. See you later, everybody.
Everybody.
Chat in a bit.
Hey, wait. What is the name of your channel? So just let everybody know.
Yeah, it's First Floor Audio.
All one word?
Floor Audio. It's not all one word. No, it is separate, and it is one ST. Floor Audio, not written first.
You have to say that. I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for letting me have a shout out.
Yeah.
What?
No problem.
Party on, people. See you later.
See you later, mate.
See you later,
mate. That doesn't sound right coming from me. I saw some super chats, and I'm sorry if I didn't get to you. There's Earthly Awakenings 82 for $1.99 super sticker. Sorry. Thank you very much, you guys, for the super chats. SMDC, I know you're trying to get your mic to work and everything, so you might as well disconnect. And I am going to play a couple of minutes here from earlier show. For those of you who are just getting here, don't know if we were baited into thinking that Jeremy Corbell or an imposter. Apparently, it was verified it was Jeremy Corbell at Alien Addict's show, saying he would come on this show. Now, I had emailed him plenty of time, 2.5 hours before the show, and also 30 minutes before the show. So, no reply. If he got an email, let's say I was baited by some imposter, which I don't think it was. Let's say I was baited. Now, Jeremy Corbell gets 2 emails from me. One of them says, here's the link to the show. I'm going to send you the link to the show tonight. And by the way, Justin, I can't take any more calls, brother. I'm done. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. And it doesn't look like your thing's working. I'm not taking any more in the show. Sorry. So, hi, Jan. Jan's here. Okay, so we can go now. All right. Down Under. What's up? All right, so I'm going to play this Alien Addict. This is from earlier. And I want you to take a look, see if you can tell if it's Corbell, because it looks like him. Now, I know if that was him and he's sitting there watching right now, I'm glad he's having a good time. I love this job, so nobody can affect me that way. I just think it's an interesting personality trait to have, that you would tell somebody you're going on their show and then don't. That to me is really not too mannish. Yeah, that's all. It just shows true character. I have a right. I was mad at him. Yeah, you'll see. All right, I'm pulling it up. Hold on, everybody. Here we go. We got to share again. Everything got wiped out. And we'll pull that up there. I don't know where I started going off. Sit there and tell me it's my fault. Oh, there it is. That's where it started. He's going to hear it here. Courtesy, because I called the guy. Yeah, boy.
And they just come from some
Alien Addict.
No, what I mean is, I think something's going to drop.
Nothing is.
No, something. Just something that's going to make people that little bit giddy.
You got your prelim. Be happy with that.
You're optimistic, golly. I appreciate that.
Although the day's not over yet.
That is a good question, and I'll.
And it's all about me. And I'll say it because I know he's listening. Jeremy Corbell is a compulsive liar, and I'm saying it now. That guy doesn't know the truth if it was given to him on a silver spoon when he came out of the womb. Sorry, the guy lied to me on air. I'll come on your show if you remove the audio from this conversation. I removed the audio. He didn't even reply. He's a liar.
Why did you remove the audio?
Out of courtesy, because I called the guy out of the blue. It was somebody dared me to call, and I didn't think it was going to be Corbell's phone number. So I go, I'm calling it. That was one of the few times I ever went through with that. And he picked up, and instantly I knew it was his voice. I'm like, Jeremy? And he's like, who's this? I'm like, it's Rich Giordano from Goofon. Goofon? And then he goes, I can't talk right now. I'm eating dinner. Yeah, 9:30 at night. He's eating dinner. I'm sure. Maybe he was, but nonetheless, he stayed on the phone for 7 minutes. I got to go. I can't talk, But then he says, okay, Rich Giordano Goofon. I'm going to remember that crystal clear. But can you do me a favor? If you remove the audio from because I told him we were live, and I didn't want him to start saying something that could be personal while we were on the show. So out of courtesy, and knowing Jeremy Corbell knows people, and it could be a very bad thing for me, I'm thinking. So I better tell him, the truth right away. And he said, if you remove the audio, Rich, from this show, I promise you, he says it this way, I promise you I will come on your show and answer all your questions. I said, all right, I'll do that. And I did it, and he didn't. So now I'm going to post the audio back up soon.
Jeremy Corbell is in the chat.
It wasn't my own fault. You lied, man.
Jeremy, you've got my email. By all means, join it.
Look, I said I didn't know it was his phone number. It was a dare because my show's fun. It's not boring. And I tried reaching out and seeing I thought it was the guy's phone number that I was calling, and he was going to prank me. I didn't know it was you until you answered. I knew right then and there. And I did remove the audio. You promised you would come on my show, and you didn't. And you ignored my emails. So you're a liar.
Jeremy, go on Richie's show.
No, I don't want him on my show. I don't want a
Well,
liar on my show.
do.
No, I'm done with Corbell. I'm done with all of them. I'm just going to keep talking about them. That's all. Put up another shitty video that's a bokeh or an airplane. Yeah, good job. You're really showing us all what UFOs are. Great job, Jeremy.
Listen, here's the thing, too, Jeremy. I mentioned this to you before when we were in a chat. We're all in this together, right? I didn't get a reply back from that, but if we have a different mentality than that, man, I think we're going the wrong direction. Let's get together on this, man. Maybe we have opposing opinions, but make yourself available. Come on one of our shows, talk about it, discuss it, give us what we can here. And, if you got to hold something, you hold something. But that being said, get involved with what we're doing here. This isn't just on the fringe of these fields here, man. This is it.
Can't handle the heat, Michael. He can't tell the truth. He has to lie.
I just wish he would come on so he could, you know what I mean?
Why wouldn't he come on? Why wouldn't he? Yeah, let me ask, because why? We only got 5,000 subscribers. Hey, we got a lot of listeners and people watch it. Whatever. He's here now. He knows where to go to get the truth. He knows he's going to hear it here. He knows what he's doing. How could he not? Those videos he posted don't show us anything, guys. Nothing. They don't show us anything. It's an imagination from a guy who wants so badly to be loved by everybody. That's all it is. It's an ego show. I'm sick of it. Everybody's sick of the ego show. And I'm the bad guy. And I'm the bad guy while he's putting up airplanes and bokeh shit and other stuff that could be a flare dipping into the water. Oh, it's a transmedium. It isn't. You show us absolutely nothing you claim. Zero, zip, zilch, nada, nothing. Your Jesus hands and your thumbs upward, like, please listen to me, everybody. I'm Jeremy Corbell. No, you're not. Nobody.
Like shrieking.
You're George Knapp's little puppet. There, I'm done.
I'm done.
No, I'm done.
If we can get the guy on to defend himself.
No. Well, he could have. He had a chance. And now I'm pissed off that he's sitting here saying it's my fault. It's not my fault. It's your fault. You trusted somebody with your phone number. Shouldn't give that out. And I called it. And out of respect to you, which I gave you 100% respect, and I immediately told him, Jeremy, I'm sorry. It was a dare. I didn't know you were going to pick up. And then he's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, if you remove that, Rich, I'll come on your show. I removed it. You didn't come on the show. You didn't even answer my emails. What does that make you? A liar. And I don't like liars. And if you haven't figured that out, I'm not reading anything he's saying. So I'm looking right at the camera because I'm going to get more upset. That's right. It's called passion because I've been in it 17 years, longer than you, most likely. And I know a liar when I see one. And I'm looking right at one.
I hope you don't mean. Oh, we've got. There you go. Third phase.
And the way he treated from, I don't know what happened on the call, but it was what I was told. It was similar to the way he acted to me. Oh, how could you call me? I don't take phone calls is what he tells me. You email me. I'm like, who doesn't take phone calls? That's what you got the phone for. I called you and you could have been a man enough to at least come on the show. The reason I'm acting the way I am now, it's a knee-jerk reaction for you being here, number one. And number two, it wasn't my fault. It was your fault. You lied, not me. I was 100% truthful to you out of respect. I tried. I put the olive branch out there. I was the one who was the olive branch guy, not you. You lied. You fake branched me. You gave me a false branch. And that's what happened. So don't sit there and tell me it's my fault. I tried to make things right. You tried to be you. And that's what we got. A lie. End of story.
I think.
Boy, it just got quiet.
No, I get Rich. I get your frustrations.
I'm sorry, Ali.
Yeah,
no,
I know. Don't be sorry, because I think for like George, Jeremy, whoever's watching this, if anybody else is that is in this field that has an impact in this, we need more transparency. We really do, and it's so frustrating when you've got this passion for this subject.
How can you have transparency when they're lying to you? That's why you don't have transparency, because they're lying. You can't extend the lie any further because it's hard to remember a lie than it is the truth. So you give us a piece of shit video and a piece of shit statement with it, and that's that. It's pretty much scripted.
What? So, okay. I said this on another show to you, though, Rich. If you're given a piece of footage, so Jeremy's given the footage, he puts it out because he's told to put that out.
We don't know that.
Okay.
We don't know because he's not transparent.
So you're given the footage from George now, yeah? Put this
Me?
out, Rich. Yeah. What
If
do you
I
do?
was given the footage, I would come out and say, look, to me, this looks like a flare. To me, this looks like something, but I don't believe it is what I'm being told it is, a transmedium craft, because you don't see it that way. And if you're going to claim there's other video, an extended version with it showing going into water and out of water and all this stuff, let's see it, man. We never see what they claim. Hey, there's a whole fleet of them. Show me. We're not seeing that, are we? We've got radar data from two radars. Where's that? I don't see that either. And then Jeremy drops the radar footage and doesn't even have somebody to explain what we're looking at. Here's a couple of dots. That's the UFOs. Yeah, okay, like I know. You know, get somebody to show us. No transparency, no UFOs. You can say whatever you want. I mean, am I wrong here? I mean, you guys, I know what you're thinking. I'm not going to speak for you because it's Corbell.
No. Listen, Rich. No, I mean it has got a bit heated, but you know I like a bit of heat. You know, I mean I live in the UK. I'll take anything.
Come on, he's going to come on here and tell me it's my fault that he didn't come on my show when he promised he would.
Well, I'll send him
Come
an
on,
invite.
man. It's
I'll
just a
send him an
typical
invite,
run of the mill for these people.
I'll eat like he. I think it was last year he emailed me, so I've got the email somewhere. Thank you, Area 503, and thank you, Sean. This is kind of knocked me for six. I didn't expect him to pop into the chat, but I wish that these people, if they've got nothing to hide, you know, when they're putting this footage up, and like you said on your show, Rich, it's kind of building up to that report. You expected Jeremy to drop something today.
I didn't expect anything. I expected to see another video, but I didn't know it today. Other people think it's today.
No, you said on the show that you like, I don't know if it was joking that you thought it was going to drop something today.
Because
like,
that's what I heard. Yeah, because that's what
Yeah.
people were saying. Yeah.
I think these people need to kind of speak to us.
Why? Who are we to them?
Because
we're the anti them. That's why they won't do it. They think we're on the. They think, Ali, and I don't mean to interrupt, but they think we're against them when we're not. We want to be with them. I want to be on the same team. Damn it! I don't want to have an argument. I want Jeremy to stand by his word. Hey, man, I was nice when I called him. I could have been a total dick and not remove that audio because I didn't have to. But I did it because he said he was going to come on, and I thought that was an olive branch. And it wasn't. Not for him. And that's the type of guy he is, and that's that. I emailed him twice. I didn't just email him once. I emailed him twice just to make sure. I say, look, before I put this audio up on my show, can you come on the second email? Because I'm going to post. I still haven't done that, and that was 2 weeks ago.
Right. I'm much more interested in the series of events that led up to this, to be perfectly honest. From where we are now, sat in front of like a live stream talking about a report that hasn't given us what we want or hasn't come out yet. As far as the Corbell thing goes, when you look at it, it was like stages, wasn't it? You had the To the Stars Academy that came out, and then the Tom DeLonge on Rogan, and then Corbell's documentary came out later, which got him on Rogan, which ended up with Lazar there. This thing has mounted slowly.
Anywho, and that's, I don't know what Lee was listening to, but I just explained everything. And he's like, I wonder what were the events leading up to that. I just told you everything. Oh, man. And that was earlier today, talking about 2 months ago when I called Jeremy on the phone and he picked up, didn't think he would pick up. And then he said, hey, if you remove the audio from this call, because I called him during a live stream, not knowing he'd pick up or if that was even his number. And he says, if you remove this call from your show, I promise you I'll come on. And he didn't. And then today showed up in, that looked like him. It looked like people said it was definitely him. Thank you, Area 503, for the $5.03 super chat. Says, this is zero excuse to make a speaking engagement and then not show up. That is amateur hour crap, and Corbell claims to be a pro. Anyway, he's getting a lot of airtime today, that's for sure. This is what he wanted. He got it. I don't mind talking about him. No worries. It's okay. Hey, coming up soon, though, is Dark Hour. I don't know. He may or may not show up, but Third Phase of Moon will be showing up. Blake and Brent Cousins from Third Phase of Moon. And, Richard Dolan was there today. Dr. Greer, UFO Jesus from Post Disclosure World. A lot of good people showed up at Alien Addict Show. It was a nice time. And, look, if that was really Corbell, and I honestly think it was, that really is weird to make a speaking engagement with somebody. And I've emailed him twice before the show and still no reply. That's weird. It's just weird. I kind of take it as a compliment almost, like, hey, I'm going to get you now. It's all right. We'll keep this going back and forth. He won't say anything and I will. That's what he wants. He wants me to say something off the top. Off the top. What is that? What does that even mean? Yeah, but yeah, I am. And I said it on now. I'm done with them. I think I am. The only time I will even talk about them is if there's a video posted. Or if something new was, if Lou Elizondo ever said anything new, that's newsworthy, in my opinion. Yeah, let's hope. Exactly. Love wins. Thank you for that, for giving me a new perspective on this. It is unprofessional unless a freak accident, like a heart attack, family member passes away or they get hurt. Yeah. Love wins, but there's a pattern here. You know what I mean? I had a feeling. I even said it. This guy's not going to show. I told Third Phase of Moon. I even told Dark Hour. Not going to show. Maybe he doesn't, Chris. Why wouldn't you want to come on? I'll tell you why. This is why Jeremy Corbell is not Lou Elizondo. We all know that. But Lou is doing something that Jeremy won't do. And that's give his time to the people. I have to give Lou Elizondo credit for that. He's going on shows with 1,100 subscribers to 100,000, whatever. There's not many UFO channels with that nowadays. So it's a different personality. And I said this the other night, and I think last week about Lou, is that maybe I am wrong about Lou. Maybe he's not lying about certain things. Maybe it may not even be scripted. Just because he says the same things over and over doesn't mean he's scripted. It means that's all he knows, right? And you only say what you know. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think Lou knows much. I think he only knows what we hear he knows. And anytime somebody asks Lou to expand on a certain sighting or a report or anything, he says, well, I don't have the clearance, one of those. So a lot comes with that military background, especially in the family. Yeah. But Corbell's different. Corbell's not Lou. I don't think he has any obviously, I haven't had any military background either. Don't see a lot of military guys act like I do. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. It's reverse. They're worse. Man, what a day. I tell you, we didn't get what we thought we were going to get, or what you guys thought we were going to get. We got this 9-page preliminary report. That's it. Nothing else. Matter of fact, I think I still have it up. Is this it? No, that's a sighting for later. Well, let's hear what this guy says while we wait for Third Phase of Moon and or Michael, whoever comes here first. So I'll play a little video for you. This is what's going on. This is the news. It's Channel 10 Philly.
Okay, so how significant is it that Congress is now taking up the issue and not only publishing some videos that were from the military that seem to show UFOs, but now they're talking about it in Congress?
Yeah, well, that's quite significant. We've had congressional hearings into UFOs before, and it's been many, many years. But each time, sort of, the politicians were very wary of getting involved with the phenomenon. Now they don't seem to be. I mean, Marco Rubio introduced this requirement that the government submit a report on their UFO holdings next month. So they don't seem to be shying away from it now, and I think that's a good sign.
What do we know about the sightings that they are focusing on?
Well, the important thing to know about that is that they are unidentified, or at least that's what the government says.
Okay.
The military says they could not identify what objects were appearing in the videos, or what objects were seen by the military aviators and other personnel, sometimes on the ground.
How is this also?
Anyway, and that's that. Joining us tonight from the darkest places, from West Coast to the East Coast. One of the most talented people you'll ever know. Behind the camera, in front of the camera, holding a mic. Even speaking is near perfection. This person can dazzle, can razzle, can hang with the best of them, with the minimal amount of knowledge on any subject. This person has climbed from zero to hero, the whole you wish you know, get to the top and reach for the stars, and maybe take you to the moon. And I'm talking about DarkHour Paranormal. Yeah. What's up, Michael Roser?
Wow, man, you flatter me. I was going to say, I can't wait to meet this guy. He sounds fascinating.
You thought it was Corbell.
Yeah. I had my thoughts, you know what I mean? But thank you.
Yeah, I do. This is a nice treat.
Oh, yeah, dude. I was going to say that was a lovely intro, but yeah, this is a fantastic treat. I'm happy to be here with you always when I'm on Goof On. Thanks for having me, brother.
I can't thank you enough, because if that was Corbell and he didn't show, you are helping me with this show. So thank you for being here tonight. And Third Phase will be joining us in a few, I think, at top of the hour. So I asked you earlier tonight about what went down, when I was doing my little rant there. Mm-hmm. And, we saw these messages popping up on the screen with Corbell's face there. It definitely looked like him, typing. That looked like the way he would type. Was that him? Do you think it was him?
I do, actually. And for the reason that I have come up against that particular name in other chats. I know as much as anybody does. This is the internet, and we could be being duped here. But as far as I can tell, that is actually him.
Yeah, I hope it wasn't. but I'm pretty sure it was.
Hey, I mean, that's okay. You know, he has an option here. He had an opportunity. He's had a few opportunities between the channels here to come on and talk. And if you're the face of ufology in any fashion, why would you stray away from that? Why would you walk away, as I mentioned earlier on Alien Addict Show, why would you walk away from that challenge? To me, that's something that would push me forward. If I have something I truly believe in, I want to talk about it. And I want people to challenge me. Maybe I'll learn something from them. Why wouldn't Corbell want to do that? He's supposed to be, again, one of these leaders, these leading voices that we're all kind of standing behind, whether we realize it or not. And yet he won't come out and talk like an adult. Why?
Well, we heard about the way he treated Third Phase of Moon when they called him. The way he talked to me was the same way they apparently talked to them. And I changed the title of the show just now. Jeremy Corbell no-showed Goof On. So that'll pop up. And I said, was it really him? You know, calling somebody is not the worst thing. I mean, he's saying you should have emailed me. I don't do business like this. You know, I don't take phone calls. Well, why? Because he can't screen the call. You know, now he's stuck talking to somebody that he doesn't want to talk to. To me, that is an ego right there. That's ego.
Absolutely, but I think it also goes in line with what we were talking about earlier in respect to the narrative that he's allowed to speak on. Maybe there is somebody directing him, only sending certain media outlets to say, this is a safe one for you to go on. You can talk about XYZ, stay away from ZYX. And if we call him up out of the blue, we kind of corner him. Again, if you're genuine and you have something to share, that shouldn't be a problem.
You know, I want it not to be him. I'd rather be duped because that just says a lot about somebody who is trying to be the face of ufology, and that hurts us altogether.
Yeah. Absolutely.
See what if it is him, that sucks. That's really, really awful of somebody. I wouldn't do that to somebody.
And I mean,
even if I didn't like him.
He could have just sent one back, said, hey, listen, I won't be able to come on tonight. Maybe we can schedule something for later. Or, hey, I'm sorry, I'm just not interested in coming on your show. Give us something, right? Just communication.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. Because let's say it wasn't him, and I'll just repeat it. If it wasn't him out there tonight on Alien Addict, which I think it was, but if it wasn't, and he gets these strange emails that make no sense, wouldn't he reply, what are you talking about if it wasn't him? Why are you? But he never got back to me before. So he's just, I think it was him. Now that I really do. That's immature in a way. But then people would say, oh, you're immature the way you acted. No, I'm frustrated getting shitty video for year after year when somebody's claiming it's doing something and looking like something and I don't see it. Nobody else sees it doing or looking the way he said it does. Well, that's a bold-faced lie. I'm sorry.
There's a difference between being a dick and calling somebody out because they need to be called out. Again, we're challenging these people and we see the reaction when they're up against any sort of opposing opinion. And our side is not really all that alternative. I mean, yes, we have two ends of the spectrum here. It's very polarized, but there is a lot in between in respect to, again, it comes back to communication. And if we can just get on board with, we don't have to all agree with each other, but just get on board with the vision, disclosure, I think would be okay. It's a utopian thought, but if we could just do that, it's simple. It really is.
It is weird, though. It's just a weird character trait. That's like high school. So I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna say I'll come on his show and then not show up. He. I don't know. It's different than what I'm doing. I'm telling you that. I'm straight up talking, and I'm here if you want to talk to me, and you don't want to talk to me. It's obvious. And if he was going to show up at the top of this hour, I would expect he would have showed up, but obviously not. So
the best thing you can do in this field is be accessible. If you're sitting in seats like you, me, Jeremy Corbell, Third Phase of Moon, Greer, any of these guys, the best thing you can do for yourself is not be a celebrity in the way that somebody can't get in touch with you and, be able to communicate with you on any level. It's different. It's different than, the entertainment industry and so forth, because we're out there sharing. This is what we're supposed to be doing, putting it out there, being available for people.
That's why Third Phase of Moon throws those videos up and, let's figure it out. I know people want them to do this deep research, but these sightings pop up right away and they'll be posted and people will already, ruin it by saying this, that, or the other thing. I'd rather them post it and then we can figure it out, which is what I go against a lot of the times. But I understand it now more than I ever have, why Third Phase puts videos out the way they do. So let's figure it out together. I think that's kind of nice. I mean, yeah, some people get on them because they want them to figure it out. Like, why don't all they had to do was a little bit of research? They would have known it was a blimp. No, they did 2 hours later after the blimp came out. They did, the new video the next day and said, all right, here's what it was.
Well, what's more important?
Yeah.
What's more important? Defining exactly what's in the video within the hour, 2 hours, 3 hours from when you get the material to when you need to air it, or getting it out as quickly as possible so that people can ascertain their own judgment on that.
But what people are saying is, well, Third Phase knows what it is. They're just putting it up, because they want clicks and that. And I'm like, it's not that. They're trying to do something that people can't see, I think. Now, I'm not brainwashed or anything because I used to be one of their biggest negative, influencers for them. And now I understand things a little differently. It's the togetherness, the transparency. We could all talk about it and learn from each other instead of saying, oh, you should have done this or you should have. They're just trying to get hits and clicks. Well, they do have 800,000 or 900, how much? 800,000 subscribers. So they get their clicks anyway. It doesn't matter. So I don't know, man. It's a weird world, this UFO world we're in.
Well, they created an arena, and instead of just premiering something on a single channel, let's say, not necessarily in the way that we're talking about YouTube channels, but a single avenue, they're literally walking into the football stadium full of people and going, "Hey, check out what we have! Poop, poop, poop! Throw it up on the big screen." What do you guys think? They created this big community that can engage and can reach out to them. So, I mean, it's much different than what other people are doing right now. It's still very divisive in the way of how people used to conduct these things in the past. Again, we look at the political arena and we see some of that reflected in ufology. It's an old world way of thinking. We're presenting something very progressive here, and Third Phase of Moon is certainly spearheading that in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I see Bobby made a comment, and no, you're wrong. That's wrong. They don't do that anymore. For 5 years, they haven't done that. And I know the 2 years I've been with them, they haven't come close to that. Now, is he confusing it with Third Phase UFO Report, where we do go over all their old stuff? But so far, I haven't gone 8 years back. I've only gone 3 years back. And I know you haven't gone 8 years back. They don't even keep those videos up anymore, that old.
No, they took them all down. Or anything that was in the way of, oh, maybe this looks like CGI, they went and combed through everything and just took it all out. So that stuff's not even up there. No.
Yeah. So that you see that right there is somebody who is living in the past. Right? They can't let go. They won't believe that Third Phase of Moon actually turned a corner to the more credible and more knowledgeable. And they are actually debunking their own videos, that these things that come up. So I don't know why people would ever say such a thing nowadays. It's weird.
Again, you have to keep in mind, anybody who wants to say that, what was the environment at that time? What was the environment of ufology? What was YouTube to the rest of the world? They were in a completely different place 10, 15 years ago. Nobody knew what the hell they were looking at. Most people didn't have access to certain tools wherein they could manipulate or see the picture better with Photoshop and so forth. Some did, but most people didn't have access to anything like that. Completely different environment altogether.
Yeah, and if you look, they put up over 3,000 videos, and if there were just, I don't know, let's say 5 or 6 that were suspect, still the percentages are phenomenal that the other ones were okay, to post or whatever. So let's say it was 20 videos out of 3,500 that they posted. 20 videos that shouldn't have been posted, and they were, and people only remember the bad ones. So the other 3,480 were shit too? Come on, man. Yeah, I don't like that. I said that about Secure Team 10 too. The poor guy, I say poor guy because he's been through a lot, but I don't really care anymore to talk about him, but I have to make my point. He put up a few videos, 3 out of 2,500, and he's a hoaxer channel now. You know, it's like you do one thing wrong in this business, and my God, well, Tyler can keep doing things wrong. People still watch his videos anyway. So whatever. It's weird. It's a weird world.
You said it, brother. You said it, man. This is a very tenuous walk in the fields of ufology. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Sometimes it's like walking on eggshells. You just got to watch your words.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
You know, watch how you present yourself. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, you.
No, that was it. Essentially, it's just the way you present yourself, the words that you're using, how you approach people, the way you talk about people, the way you critique people. I mean, you got to think of every little step here.
Apparently, I don't do any of those things right.
I don't know who you're listening to.
I just heard it. It's true.
Funny.
I do things a little differently, don't I? I mean, come on. I do things out of humor. I'm not saying anything I shouldn't say. I'm just calling out the bullshit as I see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I got that New York type attitude that people just don't like. By the way, Alien Scientist is going to be joining us here.
All right.
Jeremy. Yeah, he wants to talk about Corbell a little bit. He wants to get his 2 cents in. So I sent him the link. We'll be hearing from him. There he is. Hey, what's up, man? Alien Scientist. I know that was quick, huh? That was quick. You need more time? I'll come back.
No, I'm just shutting off. You're in the background.
Okay.
I'm watching the show, man. I had to tune in. I was loving the live chat. Hey, what's up, everybody? I love all of my friends I see in the audience. This is great. So
thanks for coming on. Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
A couple things I wanted to say about Corbell is why doesn't he just end disclosure for all of us and produce that element 115 that he showed in that documentary? And he said that they're holding on to this element. He said he's got a sample of this element 115, bro. Like, bring it out. We'll bring it to a lab and disclosure will be overnight. You have scientific proof, don't you? Or are you just lying? Did you just make that up? So, you know, why keep the game going? You can end disclosure overnight, like right now, by producing that element 115 that you and Bob Lazar have. So where is it? What's up? That's my challenge to Corbell, number one. Number two is the guy's a liar on yeah. He was on this show the other night, and I gave him some good questions to ask, and they got him a question about the TR3B. I don't know if you saw that one from it was on Theories of Everything with that guy Kurt Jamungle.
Oh yeah, right. I did see that.
He did an interview with Elizondo too, but he interviewed Corbell and he asked Corbell about the TR3B, and he just gives a completely bullshit answer, like about no clue about the physics, no explanation of the. He says electrogravitics. This is completely different. This was kinematic. It was a rotating mercury plasma that was described in the TR3B. It has nothing to do with whatever Corbell's bullshitted answer. Man, he came up with like. It was just hilarious watching him like bullshit, and I just know, like, this answer makes absolutely no sense, and I'm like watching him try to explain to Kurt, who's actually a physicist, why this whole thing, it was just ridiculous because he got all the physics wrong. I made a comment on that video about it, but there's something deeper going on with this because Corbell, like just like those triangle like UFOs that Mick West totally debunked and proved were Boca, right? Those stupid triangle UFOs where he kept calling them pyramids. They didn't have a square bottom. They never turned into squares. They were triangles. Why did he not use the word triangle or flying triangles? He kept using the word pyramid on purpose. And it's just because he gives this whole spiel about, the TR3B. He says it's nonsense. And nowhere does he mention Edgar Fouché. And there's a reason for that because George Knapp and them hate Edgar Fouché because Edgar Fouché was one of the first guys that debunked Bob Lazar and was basically like, listen, I worked at Area 51. This guy didn't talk about the foggles that I had to wear when I was out on the, the testing area. Anytime you left a hangar and you were out on the base walking around, you had to wear these foggles that like blocked out your eyesight and blocked out your vision. Bob never talked about those. Just all the research that we've done for, I'm a physicist. I've researched the physics of the element 115 and everything that Bob said and the whole history of anti-gravity. Like we've been putting the pieces of this together. Why is Jeremy Corbell getting all the attention and limelight for what does he put out? But except, a bunch of false promises and lies. I can't. You're one of the only channels on here that are actually calling him out, man. And I got to commend you for that. I wanted to jump on and just thank you for the awesome job you guys are doing and throwing a couple jabs myself, because he's a mosquito.
Yeah.
And he's a plague or a cancer on this movement. He's all ego and he's destroying this. Like, I don't know. I feel like he's a plant. I really do. I feel like he was picked and put out there on purpose to mislead everybody, to show all these fake UFO videos. None of it's the real stuff. We've been researching cases. We know that the government's been covering up all kinds of stuff with relation to this topic for decades and decades and decades. It doesn't go just back to ATIP. It doesn't just go back to these programs. They go way deeper than that. And this 9-page, government report, I already said this was going to be a nothing burger. We're never going to get anything out of the government. And that's why we're jumping on.
Where does Knapp fall into? His third phase is here in the green room. But one thing I wanted to ask you, Jeremy, where does Knapp come into play with Corbell?
See, like, I think I was going to pick a guy in the media, anyone that could be in control. I really like Knapp is because Jeremy Corbell always calls Knapp his mentor. He's like, my mentor, George Knapp, my mentor, George Knapp. Honestly, Corbell wouldn't be getting any of these leaked videos. He's obviously getting them from George Knapp, right? That's his source, right? So George Knapp gets all these videos, and he can use his little puppy dog puppet, Corbell, to go and put all this stuff out, so that later on when he says, oh, it's bullcrap, he'll just be like, oh, well, that's just stuff that Jeremy put out. It's just like, it gives him like a layer of, what's called a cutout in intelligence terms. It's another layer that you can cut out and keep yourself free from the disinformation game that you're playing. Because I really feel like this is all disinformation. I know this is all disinformation because it wouldn't be in the mainstream media all over, getting the attention that it gets. The real information doesn't get that kind of attention, or very, very rare that it does. If it does, it leaks out and it was an accident, and it kind of disappears and it goes away after a while. But this mainstream narrative that they're putting out, most of these UFOs videos that they're releasing and pushing out to the public, I think they're all our technology and are examples of our technology. And none of it's the real stuff. And that it's $21 trillion, man. I keep bringing back to that because $21 trillion is just missing. It's unaccounted for. Okay, that's enough to pay for almost 1,000 Manhattan projects. Manhattan Project was done for like $21 billion. $2007. It was like $2 billion is what it cost at the time. So we're talking, 21 billion versus $21 trillion. This is 1,000 times as big as the Manhattan Project. Okay, 21 trillion is going to buy you some Tic Tacs. I'm sorry, like if I had $21 trillion for my labs and what I know about the physics from studying this, we could build these things. I definitely could have. If I had 20 years ago and started in September 10th, with Donald Rumsfeld the day before 9/11 saying that it was 2.3 trillion, and then it just more trillions just kept going missing every and now we're at 21 trillion ever since 20 years since 9/11. Yeah, you're damn right. I could build a heck of a lot of cool stuff with that much money.
Oh yeah, that's why they took down Building 7 too. Third Phase of Moon is here. Third Phase, what's up, man?
What's up, guys?
Welcome to Goof On. I've got alien scientists here and Dark Hour.
Great to see you, Jeremy.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Yeah, just listening to what Jeremy's saying, and I feel sorry for Jeremy because Jeremy's getting a bad name with this other Jeremy on board that didn't want to show up to this discussion here. But that's all right.
There's a lot of good Jeremys in ufology, man.
There's a lot of good Jeremys. That's cool, man.
There's always one bad one.
Yeah, there's always one bad apple. But it's kind of crazy just listening to this circle and how different it is from everywhere else where you go. to try and find this information, and everybody's kind of ignorant basically in this kind of discussion that we're having, except in this circle that we're all in, and nobody's asking the right questions. Just like you said, Jeremy, I believe you, $21 trillion, we could probably build at least, I would say 21 Tic Tacs. You know, these things are probably pretty pricey, but you know that we could have this in our arsenal, our assets. It could be trickled down, and I don't know. There's something out there that they're not touching upon. They don't even want to touch upon the subject that it could be in a private corporation. They keep saying that it's in a government corporation. They say that it's not in our government corporation, but they really, really don't go down the rabbit hole of private corporations, that if it could be in their assets. And to me, I think that's where people should be asking. These are the questions people should be asking, because obviously there is something in advanced technology that obviously it's out there. We're still working with rockets. The technology that we drive around in cars is still 100 years old. So, you know, we haven't flipped the page for some odd reason, even though the advancement of technology as we see around us builds, AI is growing stronger. From what I'm hearing, AI has already set its place. They've already achieved their purpose. Now we're building them. They tricked us into building them and these robots and the AI, and we're actually building artificial intelligence to advance AI. They've already tricked us, and we're working for them in a weird way. And it's a strange thought process, but I think apparently that Skynet and that shift like we saw in Terminator actually did happen approximately, I don't know, about 10 years ago. Something happened, and now we're building them. And who knows where all that goes. That's kind of a scary place. But I think this AI is going to help in advancement of building these advanced technologies and the infrastructure behind it as well. We need AI to pilot these things, because these things move so fast. Human mind wouldn't be able to operate these kind of machines. So AI is going to help us build infrastructure behind it and also operate it autonomously, so we don't have to have any humans, messing up or doing nefarious things with this technology. So AI is going to play the game, and I guess that was part of their plan as well. But we're going into a direction that I think it will be trickled down. But I don't know. It seems like all this technology comes after like some major event, a war or something, and that hasn't quite happened just yet.
Right.
Did anybody hear that there's going to be, because this was the preliminary report, that next Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, there's going to be the legitimate release of these files? Did anybody else hear that but me? Maybe
There's
somebody
no way
in the chat.
they can get away with just that 9 pages, man. That was like, there's no way they can get away with that, man.
But that's what preliminary is, right?
Well, it's kind of like a sports event, a swimming event. They have their prelims.
Yeah.
They set it up, and the major event hasn't. The games haven't even begun. Prelims are just kind of exercises before the games start.
Again, my main only interest in reading that is going to be about the technologies part, so I can point out what they didn't cover and what they missed and stuff. Because I don't know, I just feel like there needs to be more investigations done there, and I'm not waiting around or trusting my government to do those for me. That's why we're putting together a lab and a team of scientists and engineers to take what's already been declassified out of these programs that we have access to, and try to build whatever we can with it, based on what we do understand about the nuts and bolts of the physics so far. And I think forced disclosure through technology is the path forward. I don't think any amount of FOIAs, like as we said, the FOIA process has pretty much hit a dead end, because we now understand that this stuff is locked up inside of private corporations where it's inaccessible by FOIA. And also the process of just begging the government to just please disclose and tell the truth. It just, it's not going to work. So we're going to build it. Build our way out of this. That's where I'm at right now. And
so what's next?
Yeah, what's next, man? We're gonna build. I'm going down the lab this weekend, and we already have some funding, and we
Jeremy,
just experiment with the technology and stuff, and do some videos. Yeah.
Do you think it's obviously nobody's ever done it before, but it doesn't take much to prove that technology that you're talking about could be produced and actually made practical. What would be your first step? Like, would you be looking for a craft that somebody could travel in? Are you going to start small scale? Like, what kind of anti-gravity properties that you'd want to replicate? Not saying that you got to make anti-gravity or defy physics. We just want to emulate what we're seeing here. Objects that could move 30,000 miles, move on a dime.
Exactly. So none of this defies physics.
Good.
This we say is that if it's an observable phenomenon, there has to be, an explanation for how to produce it. And so we're looking for ways that we can produce these sorts of things in our lab. And the one we're looking at really particularly right now is the types of these spin metallic coatings and what's called EPR NMR resonance, where we, get you find ways to resonate the lattice structure and all the spin states and get them aligned in a coherent matter. So you get what's called quantum entanglement across an entire surface. And then we're experimenting with how that sort of quantum entanglement and these kind of quantum states affect gravity. According to our models, we believe that the graviton has already been discovered and that it exists in our LIGO experiments and other experiments in the form of squeezed quantum vacuum. And we think that if basically you take two photons and you eliminate them, you get a graviton, and that's where the graviton will come out of. And now we're just looking for ways to, we think that this is the point at which, electricity couples with gravity. And
so what are you going to levitate first, though? Like, what object are you going to levitate? And how small or large will the scale be when you first get started? Because we have people that are involved with people that sit on the Smithsonian on the head, like physicists, like heavy brains. They're interested in this kind of stuff. If you can
we had a couple of guys from University
big
of Albany.
investors too. Big investors. They're just looking for any kind of proof. So you let me know when you like. That's what I'm asking. What are you going to levitate first? That's my question. What do you have your eye on?
Set up this weekend, we're going to be doing the Alzaphon experiment with a couple of samples that we've put together, including some materials which are it's like a barium titanate, which is a nonlinear optical material. And we're going to try testing out this Alzaphon experiment, which was a 1981 experiment that we found while doing some research into Boeing. Boeing Aerospace did this study in 1981, and they were just trying to test out if nuclear dynamic orientation could affect the pull or the effects of gravity. And they, according to what we learned, that they were successful, and the results of that study were classified and kept classified for a number of decades until his son started publishing a lot of the stuff, and that's how it came out years later, is through his son David Alzaphon, who we've interviewed and talked to. So again, we're trying to break this all down and really dig hard into the physics. And if Jeremy Corbell's got that element 115, man, we'd certainly like to get our hands on some of that and test it out, and we can put it in the hands of the right people and make disclosure happen. Just like we're trying to set up now, we have a whole bunch of people saying that, they've got anti-gravity machines. So we bring them to our lab to test them and put them to the test and see if any of them actually work. And also, test out these cutting edge theories on, quantized inertia, the M drive, or, any number of things. We're also building a mock-up of the Mark McCandlish ARV and doing we've got some of, some other research. And then we just appropriated another lab of another anti-gravity researcher, Chris Hagelson. What's his name? Chris Hansen.
What about a skateboard? You want to levitate a skateboard? That'd be pretty cool, man.
We can make a hoverboard, man. We're going to get some funding.
That's it. That's where the funding is at. You'll get all the money you need at that point.
Jeremy,
no problem.
How much different is your experiment to the Hutchison effect?
So the Hutchison effect is a way to produce energy. And there's a guy named Bob Grenier who's got a channel called Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project, and he's doing the best Hutchison replication work of anyone out there currently. He's been in talks, and you know, I've been in some of the private chats and communication with that group, and it's really interesting learning what's going on. I hope to interview both of them at some point to talk more about that. But they're dealing with localized, you know, energy pockets that hit these cells and create these cavities, which are called exotic vacuum objects, is what Bob Grenier calls them. And he's showing all kinds of evidence of them in his experiments, transmutation of elements and fusion that are happening in these experiments. It's quite interesting. It was I was skeptical at first, but I'm seeing a lot more interesting stuff come out of those experiments. But I don't know all the extent of I don't know. Yeah, I think it might have something to do with what Hutchison was doing too. Although it sounds very similar with the types of frequencies and the generators that he was using to hit these things with. So I don't know. It seems quite interesting, but
I want to ask you this because I'm interested, and I don't know if other people thought of this question. What does it cost to do an experiment like the one you're doing?
All the equipment that we have to put everything together, it's a lot of money for all the equipment. We've
over $100K.
Probably we just bought a machine, a CNC machine for the lab to make stuff, and it was like $55,000 for that. Machine. So it's like we also have a whole bunch of like power supplies and generators and stuff. We're probably well over $100K with all the like lab stuff that we've got built up. So it's I'm just trying to we'll bring all this stuff in one place. That way we can do any experiment there. Yeah.
Jeremy, hey man, that's peanuts comparatively to what these guys have in our circle of friends.
That's why I'm asking.
They got a lot of money, man, and all you got to do is prove one thing. Just I don't know, you got to levitate something. It doesn't have to be even heavy. It's very, very light, but you prove that you've done something that nobody's ever done before. And that's all we need. And it sounds like you got the brain. And I don't know if
we're close, man. I think we're going to do it this year. We just got to get we got a bunch of people coming down to the lab this week, and I'm going to go down there with these guys. And I think we're cracking the code. We're close to it.
Hey, we have a friend. His name's Alex. You mind if I actually pass over your information? You guys could jump on and just talk because he's into all this stuff and he dives in deep. So I think you guys would have a great conversation. It'd be a good clashing of minds for sure.
Anyone that wants to get involved or send me information or be involved, Jeff, definitely check me out at you can email me at thealienscientist@gmail.com if you want to email me. The Alien Scientist, that's one word, no spaces, all lowercase. And then you guys can also check out my channel, Alien Scientist, on YouTube. We're going to be doing the APEC conference tomorrow, and we'll probably be doing it live from the lab tomorrow. So you guys can check that out. We have a whole conference where we put a whole team of scientists together to try to reverse engineer and build this stuff. And
that's really cool. That's really
tomorrow
cool.
Starts at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be doing that, and hopefully be building stuff in the lab, working in the lab the whole time in the background. So,
let me ask you this, Jeremy, very quickly. Let me ask you this. We're going down the technological road. We're talking about the physics and so forth. We bring up, element 115. If you were able to get this in your hand at some point into the lab, then possibly you come up with something conclusive in this actually being what it is. Do you think, though, if you were to find that and present it to the public at large, that there would be a group of people or a pushback of some sort that because they can't see it and feel it themselves, I mean, we're talking about a very small piece that, of course, is going to be experimented on and then coveted. Do you think that they'd still walk around and say this isn't real, that there's actually whatever the experiment conclusively showed, it's not real still? I mean, and then again, the implication then comes from, well, if it's from off-world, maybe it's from something natural like comet, debris. It doesn't necessarily tie in the extraterrestrial there. Just based on the fact that you've come up with this analysis. What are your thoughts on that, mate?
Well, I think that, you know, replication is a key in science, because, you know, if you can show other people how to do this themselves, the element 115 is kind of a hard one. And I point out the element 115 is kind of like this, what I call an unobtainium, because it requires this one element that's, you know, it basically, according to Bob Lazar, it comes from extraterrestrial star system. It came from a supernova and another, you know, it doesn't appear in anywhere in our, you know, star system. It came from another star system is basically what he said. So it's this unobtainable thing. So that's going to be hard for other scientists to be like, well, how do I reproduce it if I'm missing this one key thing and I don't know what it is and how to make it, or it's unobtainable, right? Unobtainium is a word that. What's your thoughts on? But is to answer your question? Let me answer your question before I get distracted. I get distracted very easily, and I tend to ramble. So the other thing, we can have an experiment where, like for example, Tom DeLonge had that piece of that material with the bilayered material with magnesium and bismuth in the layers, and he said that when you hit it with terahertz, it floated. Right, that's what he claimed on Joe Rogan. And so, you know, if we can get something like that where we can actually, you know, show people how to produce that, show people the layering structure, how to make that metal, and then, you know, have a video where we produce the metal and show people how to make it, and then show people how to do the experiment, you know, for say that my goal is to make an experiment that can be done for under $500. That way anyone can go and do this, you know, like it's cheap, it's accessible. That's what we want to develop, is something that can be replicated by everyone for a very cheap price. That's what we want to see, because if that's going to beat out the element 115, that's going to beat out all these things, is showing people something that they can go out and build, and then it's like you can't deny it, because everyone will be doing it at that point once we release that video and show how to do it. So
excellent.
Wild. I'm just sitting back listening. Here, Controlson says element 115 has a short half-life, but it can have different isotopes. With the right isotope, it's supposedly stable, doesn't decay in seconds like the currently isotope we can create right now.
Yes. Yep. Well, we've discovered 4 isotopes on the books of moscovium or element 115, and none of them have a half-life more than a couple hundred milliseconds. So, yeah, I still, you know, I hold hopeful that we'll find one that is stable and have all these magical properties that Bob Lazar described, and I'm sure I can get get some proton-conducting perovskites so we can get a positron source for that end of the experiment, and we can go hit it with some positrons and see if it does what Bob Lazar said it did in his, you know, explanation of the reactor.
Let me ask you this, Jeremy, because, man, since we got you on the show over here at Goof On, man, it's kind of cool. But, you know, there's this term that was brought up in Countdown to Disclosure. Do you think that there is in the possession of a secret, you know, private corporation that they've mastered supercavitation? And can you explain what exactly that is?
Yes. So the supercavitation effect is when you put in so much energy into a certain area, like the pistol shrimp, for example, that it flicks its claw so fast that it produces an implosion at a certain point, at a point in the water, and it actually creates this supercavitated bubble, which is basically, it's like quantum entanglement. And I think there's quantum entanglement involved in it. There's all kinds of weird stuff that happens with supercavitation, and like cavitation happens on on the blades of like ships and stuff, and it eats away at the metal and stuff. So, but there's also the type of supercavitation that goes back to this this guy Lake Marabou, who's a NASA scientist, LeikMyrabo, and he was developing this light craft for Project Skyvault, where they were basically, you know, using lasers and using laser energy to explode air to create these, you know, to create like a shockwave that you could ride aircraft on. And they were even doing it on planes to take control of airplane wings and stuff like that. by cavitating the air across the surface of the airplane wing. They could get the one wing to lift up more than the other, and they could take control of airplanes and stuff using this tech, which is super cool. But apparently, if they blast enough of this energy in front of the craft, it create a super cavitating effect, which moves all the air or water out of the way. So they can have these transmedium vehicles that can go in and out of the water and in and out of the air, because they use basically a high-powered laser, which heats up and blasts the air in front of it. Like, it heats it up so rapidly and so fast that it super cavitates. So it creates this like tunnel in front of the craft for it to go through, so that you can travel right through water or air at supersonic speeds without getting the
when we put the information out on Countdown to Disclosure, it came from a source. And when they mentioned supercavitation, a lot of people ripped into this guy and said, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He has no idea. This guy's a liar. I don't even want to mention the guy's name at this moment. But does somebody make up this kind of terminology, or does it make sense? It was the first time I've actually heard of it when this guy mentioned it. It's interesting.
Can't find any videos of, like, we have supercavitating torpedoes, and you can only find one video of them from South Korea doing a test of them. And I don't know, it's super interesting that they have this technology. It's not well known about or well talked about, and it wouldn't surprise me if you get some G-men or agents showing up on your channel to tell you that this stuff wasn't real or that it didn't exist, and make fun of anyone talking about it, because it is real.
What about this other term that was coined by our good friend Alex Gershowitz? He sits on the panel time to time, and a retired physicist. And we're like saying, okay, because he really is against this anti-gravity term, because he believes that there's in gravity, we're all falling at the same time. So, we're just going around with the curve of the sun and around it, and it keeps us. It's not really gravity itself; it's just inertia. But so we get in these arguments. So I'm like, okay, he doesn't like the term UFO. Obviously, it's too vague, and he really hates the UAP terminology. Again, it's really vague. So I'm like, what do we call this thing? Especially if you're going to build it. And he came up with this term, and we shared it on Third Phase Moon for the first time. And it's called a meta propulsion vehicle, MPV, meta propulsion vehicle. Is that something you wanting to design? Because it's basically all about the meta, right? We don't know what is propelling these things. And maybe you're going to develop the meta, and then we're going to realize what the meta is, and then we're going to have to change that term. But right now, you're trying to develop a meta propulsion craft, right? Something that's the goal.
That's the idea is that these lasers, they figured out they can do these with these lasers, these directed energy weapons. They can cause supercavitation of the air in front of the craft. But they can also build up an entangled charge. I think, like, you build up these entangled states of trapped light, and then you squeeze them with using squeeze states to manipulate what are called the gravitons, or the shot noise. It's kind of like that's in our model. There's a bunch of physics on this, going back to Bernard Haish, who worked at Caltech and did some research for Lockheed Martin. And he also wrote a bunch of papers with Hal Puthoff back in the 90s and 2000s and stuff, all about this whole idea of changing inertia, basically inertial confinement and cancellation, and reinterpreting inertia, so that you could just basically like change your inertia and reinterpret it, the way you interact with the vacuum. So they have all this stuff about inertia as a quantum vacuum reaction, or a reaction to the quantum 0-point energy field. And if you can do this with a bunch of trapped light and these squeeze
inertia adapters kind of thing.
So that whole meta idea comes in from like what are called meta atoms. So the idea is if you get these spin states, like we're talking about with this whole idea of spintronics, you get all these spin states and you get them all to align and cohere, you can get the entire craft to like essentially behave like a single atom, or what's called a meta atom. And then when you can get it to behave like a meta atom or a single atom, you can basically squeeze it so the Heisenberg uncertainty principle is violated. So it jumps from position to position. It will jump around quantum mechanically, and you can literally the craft using a form of quantum gravity. I'm probably not describing it perfectly, but I'm working with a bunch of physicists who could probably describe it a lot better than me. So if you have some scientists that really want to get into the nuts and bolts of how this stuff works, then have them send me an email and I can put them in touch with some of the people on our team, because I'm pretty good, but man, we got on this stuff. So.
But if you guys were to actually come up with this and you create something in the way of meta propulsion, or what you're describing as anti-gravity technology, something that we don't see in the public eye, do you have any concern of that being taken away from you, or some kind of funding being pulled? Do you have to keep eyes on your back as well?
Yes. So we have backups and backup groups, because what tends to happen to these things in the real world, right? So we have a company like a company like Battelle that manages all the national laboratories, right? So anytime that one of our national laboratories, which is where all like the big scientific research and development takes place, that's who has the money and the equipment to do these types of experiments and are probably working on this stuff. So say that they were to invent something. What would then happen is that a company called National Security LLCs, like Lawrence Livermore LLC, would come in and basically take those patents and they'd file a patent on that idea, and then that patent would get shelved and moved into a separate. It wouldn't go to the U.S. Patent Office and be located in the public patent directory. It will go to a secure place, which is for national security patents which could violate national security, because that's the excuse they use to hide all their criminal and illegal activity and hide all the could save our planet and help humanity, instead of enslave anything that can break the enslavement that these puppet masters have over us. They're going to shelve and keep away from the public, and that's been the allegation since as long as we can remember. But this is the reality of how this operates, and they use something called ITAR, ITAR or EAR. It's called an export control law. To prevent that technology from ever getting out, or those patents from ever reaching the public. And they use real laws where they'll try you with trading with the enemy and, trading foreign technology assets to the enemy if you try to release or leak that stuff. So we're well aware of those types of things. And we argue that those are illegal and inhumane, unethical, and, just wrong. And we have systems in place to make sure that information gets out to the public in a way. We're not going to try to patent it or keep it proprietary. There'll be no NDAs, non-disclosure agreements signed anywhere with anyone in our group. All the public, it's basically we're trying to crack this code, and then we're trying to make it public and get it out to the public. So we've already thought about this and investigated this, so that when this happens, it will be disclosure, and there's nothing they can fucking do about it.
I like that.
Very well said.
Yeah.
Go get them.
I remember we were talking to Jeremy a couple months ago, just on the phone, and we're having some good conversations. And you brought up this company, Battelle, and that was pretty much the first time I ever heard of that company. And we did a little research, but I know you could tell it a lot better. Give us a little insight about this company, Battelle.
Yeah, Battelle, I think they've existed since 1938. I believe 38. They've been around, and they were one of the top metallurgist contractors. So they built tank armor and experimented with different types of metal alloys for air. But right around 1947, there's some evidence that they were involved with another Project Blue Book. So that there was the regular Project Blue Book, which the Air Force had and released to the public, but there was another version which was basically kept to this to a more refined group of scientists, including the head of Battelle at the time, a guy named Howard C. Cross. And lots of interesting stuff that you go back to Battelle, right? 1947 Roswell crash. Apparently that material went to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. And then just after that, Battelle got all these contracts to begin researching titanium alloys, titanium purification, and they also got a variety of contracts right after that, and right after that time period. So Battelle would have been the contractor if you had alien metals that would have had to go somewhere and get analyzed. Battelle would have been one of those contractors to do it. Several employees that worked for Battelle, one of them most famous is a guy named John Elroy Center. And John Elroy Center, I think that's his name, Center. John Elroy Center said that he was given, he was tasked at Battelle, he was given this materials.
Can you spell that? Jeremy, everybody's saying Mattel. Let's spell it for him because
Battelle. And it's Battelle Memorial Institute. And it's in, they're in Columbus, Ohio is where their headquarters is. But they have other facilities and buildings all over the U.S. They're like an international company and stuff. They're a private contractor. It's actually a private institute, so it's untouchable by FOIA. But they have numerous contracts with the government going back decades, including to the Wright-Patterson Material Command right after Roswell, which is oddly and suspicious in itself. But there are people that worked for Battelle metallurgists who said that they were given pieces of stuff that they thought were alien spacecraft because they'd never seen anything like it before and have never seen anything like it again. These memory metals, these foils that could be bent and crinkled and folded in half and would retain their shape upon
bingo.
So really interesting stuff has been reported. No one's ever gotten their hands on any of that material. It's, a lot of the scientific community is like, oh, that's just rumors and conspiracy theories and nonsense. But so apparently it's in a place called the Blue Room at Wright-Patterson. Senator, who's the guy, the senator that Barry Goldwater. So Barry Goldwater tried going after that Blue Room years ago and was denied access. And but there's definitely
hold on, I gotta stop it. I gotta stop this. Men in Black's coming right up to our doors, guys. The information we're getting in here is too hot. Check your back doors over there, Michael. Goof on. Men in Black outside your windows. This is crazy stuff.
Hold on.
Man. Love this stuff. This is
get the balls ready. So far,
this is
good,
too hot to handle right here. Go ahead.
Yeah, apparently there's a Blue Room at Wright-Patterson Material Command where all the alien artifacts go. Anything that's unidentified or that they don't know what it is, it gets put there. And apparently there's a whole hangar or a room underground at Wright-Patterson full of this stuff, is what I've heard. And that Battelle is one of the few contractors that has access from time to time to go and look at that stuff. Interesting, Battelle recently got the contracts to develop these hypersonic smart skin coatings. So the skin coatings that I was talking about, they gave the contract to Battelle. So why not? I mean, they've only got 70 years of looking at this stuff and trying to figure out what it is. So I'm sure if anyone knows how to build it, it's them.
So that's where everything is then. Or no, it's split up into probably 10 different places around the globe, right?
I think a lot of it went to, these other contractors too, like, because there's people that need to manufacture the stuff. There's a bunch of different contractors and stuff. And a lot of it's in small private corporations that nobody knows that they even do this kind of work. That's the way it's been done for a while now. EG&G was a big contractor that did all the stuff at Area 51. So they probably have some stuff too that they've done. Lockheed Martin as well. They were definitely one of the tops. But man, that 21 trillion, you start thinking about that, and you start thinking about this technology and digging into the physics and how far it could go back. They could. I really think that they have this stuff and that they're trying to reverse engineer it right now and build it. And it's a race going on between against Russia and China to see who can get it first.
We're talking to David Adair, and he was saying that he thinks that we're probably about 1,000 years in advanced technology that's being hidden due to the rate of the technology that we've been playing around with over the past 30, 40 years.
I laugh when these people, the news reporters, say, oh, this technology that's flying around out there, that's 1,000 years more advanced than anything we have in our arsenals. I was like, yep, that's about right.
Crazy. And people roll their eyes when I bring up David Adair, and I don't understand. This guy has been in the thick of this from the beginning. Aerospace, a lot of patents. Guy's
I want to talk to
crazy
Dave.
like a
I would
fox.
love to interview David Adair and pick his brain and get him on to. That would be a great conversation, man. I know someone that knows him, and I've been trying to arrange that, but it hasn't
We got an
happened yet.
incredible interview with him coming up on Countdown to Disclosure, the sequel. It's mind blowing, and he says some things that are incredible, and he explained a lot about Area 51 as well when he visited the area in really nice detail. We'll be putting that up on Third Phase of Moon here real soon, but yeah, we'll hook you up with David Adair. That's not a problem. You know, the guy's got so much information. He probably could help in the development of all this, because his brain is he's very sharp, and he's been dealing with this kind of technology, and he's not a happy camper either. And he says we're not dealing with any Boy Scouts out there as well. Just a little sneak peek in his language, but yeah, David Adair is amazing, but it's amazing you bring him up in the UFO community or these supposed experts or what have you. They roll their eyes when you bring up Adair, which is interesting to me. To me, it seems like Jeremy understands and appreciates. Not Jeremy. From Alien Scientists, yeah. Not Jeremy Corbell, Alien Scientists. Yeah. It's not confuse these two by any means. There's a big difference.
If you know, like, I see a comment. This guy, sorry, David Adair is full of poo, and we'll be able to tell that within a very short time if he does get on with us, because deep knowledge is not something you can really fake. If you have degrees and you have a deep understanding of physics and stuff, there's certain things you just should know, and if you don't, then it's a clear indication. My audience will pick that out, and the team I have will be, if Adair isn't who he says he is, we'll be able to pick him off right off the bat. So
absolutely, and that's the language we hear as well. And I guess we'll find out about that. And that language, what you just stated, you'll be able to find out pretty much immediately whether he says who he is or claims that he has the knowledge in this. Absolutely.
We talk to a lot of people that really do have the knowledge and have put together on briefings for the APEC conference, hour-long briefings on stuff, guys from British Aerospace, guys from Boeing. We've had them disclose and come forward with the programs that they worked on, doing anti-gravity research for these major aerospace companies. So we have plenty of legit people already, and we invite anyone who is legit to come forward, and if they are legit, then they'll pass the test. And Mark McCandlish was one of the first guys that came on. We put him to the test. We hit him with more technical questions in that interview than he'd ever been asked in the 20 years before that. And then a couple months later, he's dead. Which is crazy, but I don't think I still don't believe the conspiracy side of that, because we did a lot of investigation into that, into his death. Because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, he got suicided and stuff," but it didn't look like that from the facts that we were able to put together. But again, the truth's out there, man, and it just takes.
That's up to us. That's for sure, all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But what do we know what the truth is? How are we supposed to know?
Well, the more these layers that we're taking off here as we go on, we find the consistencies, we find the science behind it, we see how some of these things start to match up. I mean, something as simple as, some of these religious beliefs or esoteric models of spirituality are now finding their way into science in the way of quantifying some of these phenomena, if you will. So, it's going to be interesting to see where we go with things, but I think that's how we're getting some of the more solid convictions that we have going forward. Again, it's just peeling off those layers through time and just taking in everything that we can that's on the table, that's at our disposal to look at and analyze or otherwise.
Well, guys, this was a great panel, and thank you guys for including me, man. I really got to get packing because I'm going to get going to New Jersey first thing in the morning to go down to the lab. So,
thank
awesome.
you, man. Appreciate this.
Thank you.
Very
Go
nice
get it,
surprise.
scientists.
Thank you.
Yes,
absolutely, man.
Appreciate it. Keep up the good fight, man. We're watching closely, and we're waiting to see what happens next. Really good. Yeah, the new term is Jeremy's like I'm telling some people in the field, like, you're a true UFO patriot. Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It means a lot.
Yeah, we all feel that way. Yep. Thanks,
Thank you,
Jeremy.
Awesome, guys.
Be safe.
All right, keep up the great work. And if Corbell comes, definitely let me know because I'll come back. No,
I will.
He won't. He saw me here. He's already running for the hills. He's probably hiding in a tent fort in his living room that he built in his safe space.
And it's pyramid shaped.
It's pyramid shaped too. All right, guys.
Thanks again, man.
Awesome. Always a
Good
pleasure.
stuff.
Later.
Take care. Bye-bye. That was a nice surprise, man. And we are rolling up to the end of the show, so everybody know. Hey, Cousins Brothers, anything going on tonight? A video?
Oh yeah, we're going to be covering it all. The Big Nothing Burger report. So far, what we've got. Again, it's just the beginning. Maybe we'll get some more stuff. Apparently, there's some language out there that, again, this is just the beginning of a bigger show of what we might be expecting leading down other avenues. So it's kind of a good thing, but we're going to be covering kind of what transpired today. Richard Dolan chimed in on Alien Scientist, which is pretty cool. On Alien Addict show.
Right.
And then we had Greer on there as well, which is kind of cool. And then, in my opinion, I think that was Corbell that showed up. And, it's interesting. People are watching. And then there's kind of walls that have been torn down a little bit. I guess the wall's been built up a little bit that Corbell didn't show up, but at least Dolan kind of came in there. And,
that was cool.
That was cool. And then about this Jesus guy.
UFO Jesus, Post-Disclosure World was there.
Post-Disclosure.
He's backing up Rich after all the time Rich has been, going after, this guy. And then he kind of comes around. Maybe he's seen the light here. Maybe some ascension has happened. And that's kind of cool. So it was a cool day today.
It was a wild day. It was
real
way
wild.
better than I thought it was going to be.
I didn't expect waking up that this day would be like this. Like, this is what happened today. So that was really not what we expected. We didn't expect anything from the drop, obviously, but we didn't expect how, everybody chimed in on this obscure channel known as Alien Addict. And then we're all there and people just it just happened there. A natural progression, which is kind of like magic. There's a little bit of magic done. And it's just, again, that the world that we're living in, and we're all living it together. It's super cool, man. Good to be with you guys.
Yeah, it seems like
you too.
It's just there's these the line drawn in the sand, and we've created this line, and we got our friends, DarkHour, Goof On, and many others, and they're saying the same thing, and they're kind of like it's our narrative that needs to be said and put to the forefront, and these guys are now coming on these kind of platforms where we're always willing and open to talk to anybody. And it was interesting to see all these other players come into this chat room, but Corbell not doing what he said at the end was pretty disappointing when it's all said and done. It was just kind of the Corbell shit show today. And we'll see. The best thing about it is that we have our friends, and that's what it's all about. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. And Michael, thank you too. You got anything going on later on tomorrow? What's going on with you in your channel?
So I'm working on a few things here for Third Phase UFO Report, as well as my channel in the way of premieres. I am going up to see Alex Oyen on Tuesday. We rescheduled from last week to this week coming, but that's definitely on. I'm going to go up there, spend some time with him. He's going to give me his perspective on what has been happening. He has an officer friend who will not only corroborate his stories, but also share some of his own. So that'll be interesting. And of course, that'll be put together in the way of, the premieres that you see us doing here. And in respect to interviews, keep your eyes out. I know I'll have at least one or two next week. If anybody's interested in talking to me on that level, please reach out to me, darkhourparanormallive@gmail.com. I'll definitely get back to you and we'll go down that road. But thank you very much, Goofon, for everything you do. Third Phase of Moon, for everything you do. This is not just somebody on the corner patting each other on the back. You guys really do put the heart and your heads out on the line to get this done and switch the narrative from something fearful to something more congruent and more reflective of the collective in where we're headed.
Thank you, man. That's well said. And I'm going to put you guys in the green room for a moment, or you can leave either way. So thank you very much, guys. And I want to thank everybody. I just saw that Area 503. Thank you very much for the super chats. He says, awesome show, way better than Corbell. We got a real Jeremy, DHP, and Third Phase of Moon. Yes, we did. We got the real Jeremy. You're right. Thank you, Area 503. And thank you, everybody, for hanging out tonight on Goof On. We do a little, I know we got a lot of new people here tonight, some sort of record, but, nonetheless, thank you for hanging out and giving Goof On a chance to talk to you, because that's what we do. We like to talk to the public. Look, they're going to give me, watch this. You're not hearing it, but hold on. We got an outro here we say goodbye with. I don't know why it didn't work. See? This is the lovely outro. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, moderators, super chatters, for your support. Can't do it without you, and you know that's true. Thank you, veterans and newcomers. I was just saying thank you for giving the show a chance. 5, 10, 15 minutes is all we ask. If you like it, share, subscribe it, and then come back and let everybody else know. We'll be back live on Sunday. Third Phase UFO Report. I'll be putting a video out maybe tonight, most likely tomorrow. So keep your eyes on that. And Third Phase of Moon is later. And I'm Rich Giordano. We'll see you Sunday, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, right here on Goof On. Because if you ain't looking up, you ain't looking out. For ufology. You get it. Good night, everybody. And this isn't working. See?
I don't know what you're complaining about. All you have to do is go to sleep. I'm not asking you to come with me. I was there. I know you wouldn't. You're scared of your own shadow and terrified of dear Uncle Gustav. Yes, I am. Well, I'm not. I don't care if he does find me gone. But come, Frida, I beg you, think about what you're doing. Everyone says he's a wicked man. What about him? Who wants to be good if being good is singing hymns and praying all day long? He's doing what's best for us, I'm sure. It might be best for you. It's not for me. I'm going, and you might as well stop arguing about it. And I warn you, if you dare tell on me, Frida, you know I wouldn't do that. I'm just telling you, you know what will happen if you do. Stop it, you're hurting me, not harming me.